Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan selamat malam. Malam ni kita ada Aina, ada Alisha, Awang, Aira, Awani, Nurin Batisha, Fasyahatul, Salma dan Yuvaraj. Your other teammates macam mana, mereka ada tuition ke apa malam ni ya? Tapi it's okay. Wakil gadis STEM ada kan? Please raise up your hand like this. Gadis STEM, wakil gadis STEM ada 1, 2, alright. Oh, one more, ada 3 orang. Okay, good. Okay, boleh turun tangan. Bread brains. Otak roti ada? Otak roti? Okay, otak roti ada? Okay, ada otak roti. Okay, 3 orang ada, bagus. Okay, cordyceps. Okay, okay, cordyceps pun ada. Alright, good. Alright, saya saya boleh mulalah. Okay, so selamat datang kepada yang baru sampai, selamat datang untuk sesi consultation yang kedua pada malam ni. Semalam kita semua dah lalui proses penilaian panel-panel daripada guru. Kamu punya projek berkaitan dengan bread mold. Syabas dan tahniah saya ucapkan atas usaha yang baik dan bila kamu present tu, most of you memang saya nampak lah, you take ownership of your work, you really understand your work dan memang try your hardest to prepare the best presentation pada hari Rabu hari itulah. So untuk malam ni, saya perkenalkan dulu Dr. Nazmi Harif Fazilah daripada Universiti Sultan Zainal Abidin. Untuk malam ni tujuan kita ialah kita briefly terangkan apa yang kita buat, projek kita berkaitan dengan bread mold ni, dan mungkin kita boleh dapat feedback daripada Dr. Nazmi macam mana nak improve kita punya explanation ke, kita punya cara kita nak present kita punya finding ke dan sebagainya lah. So sebelum kita mula, mungkin Dr. Nazmi boleh perkenalkan diri secara ringkas supaya dapat bagi sedikit gambaran lah apa jenis-jenis soalan yang mungkin ada soalan tambahan boleh ditanya bila mereka tahulah pengenalan ringkas dari Dr. Nazmi ni. Silakan.
Okay, terima kasih Cikgu Nara. Assalamualaikum semua, saya adalah Nazmi Harif Fazilah. Sekarang ni berkhidmat di UNIZA sebagai seorang postdoctoral researcher. Itu nama title jawatan saya. Dan bahasa Melayunya adalah penyelidik pasca doktoral. Jawatan saya ni basically berada di antara pensyarah dan juga pelajar PhD, di mana fungsi utama saya dalam satu kumpulan research dalam universiti. Setiap satu pensyarah ni dia ada dia punya research group sendiri. So fungsi sebagai postdoc ni adalah untuk membantu pensyarah untuk mengendalikan segala projek-projek penyelidikan yang dikendalikan oleh pelajar-pelajarnya. So sebagai contoh, saya sekarang ni saya punya supervisor bernama Dr. Nadawati alias dia mempunyai 3 orang student, 1 orang PhD dengan 2 orang master. So makanya saya berfungsi dengan cara membantu mereka untuk troubleshoot diorang punya eksperimen, bantu diorang bagi feedback untuk diorang punya penulisan artikel-artikel yang akan diterbitkan dalam jurnal-jurnal saintifik. Dan bila kami tak dapat selesaikan masa on our own, then kami akan merujuk pada pensyarah dululah. So saya ni more like a group manager, dan dalam group tu saya macam betul-betul lah di bawah ketua itu Dr. Nadawati alias. Begitulah fungsi saya di sana.
Alright, terima kasih. Lepas saya buat housekeeping tadi, semua wakil kumpulan dah ada. Jadi kita ikut siapa yang buat booking dululah ya. So first kita akan minta tim gadis STEM present. You can present your abstract, dan kalau ada briefly describe your method dan your findings. Apakah persoalan-persoalan yang penilai tanya yang kamu rasa kamu nak tanya balik ke dan sebagainya lah. So saya persilakan kumpulan gadis STEM untuk share your screen dan boleh kita tengok sama-sama lah. Siapa akan present ya? Oh, sama. Alright, thank you.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum and a very good night to Teacher Nadra and Dr. Nazmi, sorry. Okay, so my name is Salma Sophia from Gadi STEM. So our research question is exploring the effects of environmental factors on bread mold growth rates. So these are my team members. And let's just start with abstract. Okay, so for bread mold growth is a common problem in households, bakeries, and food storage facilities. Mold growth on bread not only reduces the product's shelf life but also poses a health risk to consumers. The use of Ziploc bags to store bread is a common practice among households and food businesses, but little is known about how this affects bread mold growth. Therefore, this research aims to identify the most optimal environment for bread mold growth when bread is stored in Ziploc bags. Mold growth is measured by measuring the area of bread mold using a quadrat pepper after 10 days. This research finds that the optimal growth of bread mold is achieved in the outdoor environment. The environment has the highest light intensity, lowest air humidity, and highest surrounding temperature. All these criteria promote the fungi to grow at a very high rate as mold thrives in warm environments, especially on bread, as it provides both moisture and nutrients for the mold to grow and reproduce. By understanding the factors of mold growth, further research can be done to develop best practices for bread storage and food safety. So next is introduction. So this study aims to find the best practices for bread and food storage. This is essential for food safety. Proper food storage practices can help prevent in the growth of harmful bacteria and other microorganisms that can cause foodborne illnesses. By storing food correctly, we can ensure that it is safe to eat and protect ourselves from food poisoning. Furthermore, people can practice cost savings as by storing food correctly, we can extend its shelf life, resulting in the reduce of the need to purchase food as frequently. This can save us money on grocery bills and help us to make the most of our budgets. Moreover, we can have a better quality preservation. This is because proper storage can help to maintain the quality of food, such as bread. By storing bread correctly, we can prevent it from becoming stale or dry and ensure that it is still enjoyable to eat. In conclusion, finding the best practices for bread and food storage is crucial for food safety, cost savings, and quality preservation. By implementing proper storage techniques, we can ensure that our food is safe to eat, lasts longer, and tastes better. Therefore, we came up with this research that aims, so this is our aim, which is to investigate the effects of different environmental conditions such as temperature, humidity, and light intensity on the growth of bread mold when bread is stored in Ziploc bags. Manipulating these variables will help widen our visions on how each factor affects the growth of bread mold to give us the most accurate result, which is the environment that promotes the optimal growth of bread mold. So this is our materials and methods. So our materials are Ziploc bags, marker, glove, quadrate graph paper, and spray bottle. So the methods that we use to identify the bread mold is firstly put on gloves to avoid contaminating the experiment with bacteria from your skin. Secondly, take a slice of bread and pour 10 ml of water to eat. And then we place the bread into a Ziploc bag and make sure the Ziploc bag is sealed tightly. And then we repeat it 3 times until achieve 3 Ziploc bags filled with bread because we have 4 factors. So we start from outdoor, I guess, and then we repeat the 3 others with other factors. And then we place the Ziploc bag at 4 different places, which is outdoor, in a wardrobe, in a refrigerator, and 1 in a room with constant room temperature. And then we leave the Ziploc bag unopened for 10 days or until mold develops. And then we record the data and plot a bar graph. And these are our discussions. So we have 4 factors over here. which is refrigerator, wardrobe, room temperature, and outdoor. So for refrigerator, there was no sign of mold at all on the bread because it is it is very cold can in the refrigerator. So mold growth is generally slower at lower temperature because it takes longer for mold to digest its food source and reproduce. Lower temperature also causes the moisture content of environment to decrease. This will reduce the likelihood of mold growth. And then wardrobe. Rat is exposed to very low light intensity and high humidity. So in the wardrobe, there's a very high humidity in it. So while the temperature stays constant at room temperature, so they are in the wardrobe, there are very high humidity and the temperature stays constant, which is 27 degrees Celsius. So the absence of light, because in wardrobe there is no light, causes the mold growth to be slower, but the high humidity still promotes the growth of mold. So we can see here that high humidity will promote the growth of mold on the bread. This is because mold mainly use moisture to help them grow. And then room temperature. Uh, Even though it's the same as wardrobe, but it has a little bit difference. Okay, so for room temperature, area of mold that we discover in room temperature is nearly half from the outdoors observations. Room temperature, usually 27 degrees Celsius, is an ideal breeding ground for mold spores because of the moist environments. However, it is not so critical because the temperature does not increase. Because as we know that mold grows faster in very high temperature. So as the temperature increases, the rate of mold growth becomes higher. So room temperature is not that critical because the temperature is not that high as outdoor. So let's move on to the last one, which is outdoor. The outdoor environment has a high temperature with an average of 30 degrees Celsius. Warm air holds more moisture than cool air, creating ideal conditions for mold growth outdoors. Higher temperatures accelerate mold growth by facilitating the breakdown and consumption of organic materials. And these are our data, which is our results. So we can see here that outdoor is the most area covered by bread mold, which is 134. And then followed by room, which is room temperature, which is 61. And then wardrobe, 53. And you can see here that refrigerator, there is no mode at all, which is 0. And this is our table, bar graph basically. Okay, area of bread covered by bread mold in different environmental conditions. So our x-axis is surrounding environment of bread, which is outdoor, wardrobe, refrigerator, and also room with room temperature. And in y-axis, area of bread covered by bread mold. So last one is conclusion. So I think I will make it shorter because this is too long. Okay, so for conclusion, as a summary of this research, we found out that outdoor is the most optimal environment for mold growth because bread mold grows faster at high temperatures, whereas mold grows the least in the refrigerator. The cool temperature reduces the moisture content in the bread and slows down the growth of mold. So I think that's all from us. Thank you so much.
Sama tunjuk dari abstract balik. Dari abstract balik.
Oh, we're going to go through each section. Boleh juga, boleh juga.
Tak. In case
No,
lah,
no.
in case nak tengok.
Actually, it is better that way because usually macam when we do when a master student or PhD student begins their presenting their research, they will do so in the place, in a place during the session called PhD proposal defense, the proposal defense. So what they would do is they start to present their ideas to a list of examiners, to a group of examiners. Usually there are 3 of them, and there will be an audience behind them filled with other students and also lecturers from other faculties or of any other areas of studies. So what was I trying to get there? So the general process when we do the feedback, whenever a student has finished their proposal defense, is they will actually go through each section and heavily criticize the work. But don't worry, because we're doing this just for project and for learning. So this is more like for me to help you on how to make it better when if you decided to later in future you want to become a scientist as well. So anyway, starting from the abstract, first and foremost, siapa yang present tadi? Salma Sofia. Okay, Salma Sofia is very well use of English. Ada pakai script ke? Macam baca macam pakai script kan ada juga.
No.
Oh, it's
Thank
all like
you.
impromptu. Oh, okay, well done, well done. Okay, I'm very impressed with that. Anyway, the abstract is very good because like yesterday, maybe Cikgu Nada has already explained the format of how abstract should be because I explained it to I wrote them down during the previous session, and the way you guys write this is how it should have been. By the understanding factors, we can. Yep, let me see if I can. Yep. So when you guys do this abstract, memang was it based on what Cikgu Nara has suggested ataupun memang like
Yes,
memang ada asal macam tu?
we followed what Teacher Nadia said, and then we improve whatever is not correct lah.
Okay. Because the abstract is very well done. The flow is very nice. It's what the journal article should have been. Cuma dia jadi pelik sebab when we go by section, from abstract then you have introduction, then introduction methods, the methods suddenly discussion. Then after discussion, then you got results. So it should have been result first, then discussion. Because when we do discussion, we're talking about how what we see in the results, how it makes sense based on our reading. Dan sebenarnya, bila kita buat aturan eksperimen, kita akan cakap pasal result dulu. So result ni kita cakap pasal benda-benda tersurat. When we talk about results, we're talking about something that we can see, what we can observe and measure. The discussion is based on reading, we try to explain the pattern of the result. So in terms of what you have written dalam result, dalam discussion, it's very well done, memang betul. So you said macam ini paling tinggi dalam refrigerator, tak ada no sign of mole, and then you explain the result. Kenapa? Because that mole grows just slow at room temperature semua tu. Very well done. Cuma just the order of things is terbalik. Ingat, result dulu and then discussion. Sometimes certain people combine them together, which is also fine. They call it results and discussion. If people are doing that, it will still be the same. They will explain result on one subsection first, and then discussion on that part. So macam like this in a way, because some of your parts that you explain in your discussion is sort of like macam dalam result juga. So for your case, maybe nak combine dulu pun maybe okay. But nak separate pun tak ada masalah juga. Okay, that's good. And then also for your introduction ni there's a bit more macam the order is can be better. Firstly, you start with the study aims to find the best practices for bread and food storage. When we do introduction, the aim should be on the last of the part of the introduction. So macam the last sentence tend to be the aim of the experiment. So much, and then so basically macam it's fine for you to begin with proper food storage practices can help prevent the growth of harmful bacteria and other microorganisms. Okay, tu dia jadi first sentence dah okay dah, very nice. Cuma dia study aims to find the best practices for bread and food storage ni nak okay, letak kat dalam paragraf yang last sekali. Paragraph last, ayat last. Cuma your second paragraph is in conclusion, finding the best practices for bread is crucial for food safety, cost saving and quality preservation ni. Ini okay, the whole paragraph ni dapat in conclusion sampai taste better tu, that should be on the last paragraph, and then kita tamatkan dengan the first sentence in your first paragraph. Jadi macam tu. Ini maybe just me being picky lah. Dalam penulisan for report, walaupun kita concluding this particular section kan, sebab in conclusion you're writing in conclusion finding the best practices for bread and food storage is crucial. Itu betul, cuma when we do this report, ini still in the introduction, so instead of in conclusion just write macam overall or macam taken together, finding the best practices of food storage is the most crucial. Macam tu je. So nak tulis in conclusion ni better tulis bila dah sampai the conclusion section, the last sekali tu. Macam tu. Okay, tu. So that's all very good. When we do methods, just keep in mind from methods until conclusion, we do things by past tense. Semua in the past tense lah. Tapi ni grammar je lah. So don't worry too much about it. Sebab report kita we're doing something that kita dah we're saying the things that we have done. And then it's good that compared to yang group yang sebelum ni, none of them had replicates. You guys have replicates, so that's very good. However, bila letak dalam result tu, the one that you put in the result, itu average reading ke ataupun salah satu reading je? Macam area of cover mode ni, macam 1, 3, 4 semua ni, average reading ke? Is it the apa?
We use the quadrant graph paper, so kita guna macam area punya formula.
Tapi repeat 3 kali kan? So macam pakai data yang mana satu?
Repeat 3 kali tu maksudnya macam sebab kan kita ada banyak factor. So first tu guna outdoor. Repeat 3 kali tu maksudnya yang lagi 3 other factors.
So basically you're not repeating 3 times actually. So you do have one sample for each. So only 2 piece of bread per 1 piece of bread per environment lah. So basically total ada 4 bread. Is it? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. So anyway, I was mistaken. Baru ingat macam nak puji lebih. So ini pakai replicates. But sikit. So close. Okay. Generally speaking, when we do experiment, it's always a good idea to have 3 replicates each. The reason being, biology is a very complex. Living things are very complex. When we think about like macam ubat, when we think of medicine, when people eat certain medicine, they get better very quickly. Some people has like no improvement. Some people when take the medicine, it becomes worse. So we can see how different people has responding differently to a single treatment. So similar with bread as well. So even under the same condition, for example, you put 3 bread on outdoor. Maybe 2 of them you can see like very fast fungal growth in the very a lot of mold on the bread. But on the third one, like only very little. So then you can appreciate that yang living things respond to things differently. So when we do experiments, when you go to higher level, when you go to university or you're doing to research institute, we're looking at 30 people. We're looking at 3,000 people because we want to see in proportion yang whether they the number of the people who got better, how many percent when they take the medicine. The people who actually got worse, how many percent. So from the percentage, we can establish that, okay, this medicine is good for you, or this medicine is not good. Similarly, when we want to pick the best environment, it's good to have replicates as well, so we can be sure that it's because of the environment is causing it to be making the fungal grow faster or slower. It's not because of just by chance the bread just the bread just get more very easily. Yeah, it could be like that. Okay, but don't worry about that. Maybe in future when we have other projects, even in other experiment in physics, in chemistry, it's good to have replicates. That's the idea. And tu je lah actually, yeah. That's it. I mean like, ni for the first part yang you remember you put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ni, because everybody is from the same group, from the same section. Usually what we do is we only have one of that. Student SMK section, or you don't have to put student, just one dot SMK section Shah Alam Selangor, and then in bracket, okay, for example, Salma Sofia binti Muhammad Arsab, right? We'll do something like this. Arsab, comma, you put the email, then put comma again, then Idi Amir, comma, the email address as well. So you make it longer, but there's only one. Jadi kan macam tu.
Maknanya
Right.
combine nama atas dengan bawah tu lah, email bawah tu.
Combine aja.
Oh,
So
okay.
macam tu.
Ini formatting ni organizer bagi.
Oh, ya ke?
So, tak apa,
Okay.
nanti we check back lah, tak apa, tak ada masalah. Kot lah
Okay,
tahun
okay.
ni formatting dia lain sikit kan.
Okay, kalau kau ni organizer suruh, then make it that way lah.
Sebab ni
Boleh
memang
juga
sekolah
macam tu.
kan. Tapi
Sebab
itulah
dia-
macam
Sebab ada 6, dia kena
student
implies macam ada 6 sekolah buat eksperimen tu.
betul,
Wow,
faham. Sebab
very
selalu kita letak
intentional,
email
collaborative.
orang yang nak orang yang contact person je kan.
Biasa macam tu lah. Usually seperti that. But the
Okay.
truth. But overall, yeah, well done. The episode is very, very nice. I love it. Yeah. Okay.
Sama ada apa-apa nak tanya?
Oh, yeah, question.
Okay, thank you so much. Tapi tadi yang discussion tu sorry sebab kita orang buat last minute, so tersilap letak dia punya tempat, sebab sepatutnya memang kena letak bawah results lah. And then for questions, my friends will ask, which is Fashi, Hatul and also Nur Awani. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum. So for the first question from our group is that what do you think we need to improve on our research?
Actually, I think we've gone through all of those, but I think the most important, other than formatting, because you already know that before you present, it's just that when we do our experiment, it's good to have replicates. That is true for any science experiment. Even we do or call it the social science kind of experiments, they do have their own version of replicates in terms of groups, in terms of sample groups and so on and so forth. Yeah, but overall, I can't really comment very much. I wish I could listen to each one of you to present, then I can see like, oh, okay, it's like you guys, each one of you understand what's going on. but don't worry too much about it. Okay.
Itu session seterusnya bila ada yang dalam kalangan diorang ni jadi finalist, baru kita tengok presentation pula. Ni nak bagi lepas abstract dulu.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay, I think like macam orang lain boleh macam gunakan your abstract as a reference, so good. Yeah, very good. Macam tu. Okay, any other question?
One more thing, we want to ask, where can we find articles to add to our references to make like our research look more extraordinary?
Okay. Technically, when we put references, it makes your article looks more authoritative. It shows that you know what you're talking about. It doesn't really make it extraordinary. If extraordinary, when you put something like macam, I don't know, because science doesn't really do with extraordinary. Extraordinary is people claiming macam malam semalam saya nampak jin. That's extraordinary. Yeah. For us, okay, I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. So in general, if you want to find the references, the easiest thing you can do is when you can Google, it's perfectly fine, but don't Google straight away. Just write first Google Scholar, and then when you open the Google Scholar website, Google Scholar search engine, then you can write about, for example, factors affecting mole growth. Then you can see the paper. However, if you think the papers are difficult to understand, then you can use normal Google, but keep your sources, your references in the website that have .org or .net. Oh no, not .gov. Sorry. So use that as a reference, because sometimes when you read about mole growth, when you go to if you go and read journal articles, you'll be reading about people in the field of microorganisms, microbiology, or in biotechnology. It gets quite more complex. So I don't think people expect you to delve into that field. Yeah, don't worry about it. Is that helpful?
So, .org dengan .edu lah ya? Kan ada lagi?
.net.gov. Tapi
.gov.
GOV kalau dia
Government.
nak dapatkan data lah. Like for example, for my case, last time I used to do pest control research. So I used .gov website from the government to get data, the statistical data, like how much the insect pest is inflicting loss to the agricultural industry. From that, so usually statistical data you get it from the government website. For .org, you can get like scientific advisors or medical advisors. They tend to come from trustworthy resources, trustworthy sources. .com, usually they're trying to sell you things. So because of that, it's not that credible. That's the conflict of interest. It's got people saying, macam, oh, doctors are selling, trying to sell medicine, so we cannot trust them. But you can say about people who distrust doctor, they're trying to sell you snake oil product. So how about that? Okay. Any other questions?
Kalau website yang consensus.ai tu okey tak?
Oh, tu actually tak pernah dengar pula. But
sebab,
as long, kalau website-website yang macam pelik sikit, as long dia tunjuk siapa author dia, you should be fine lah.
Okay,
The name of the author or the name of the organisation that authored the paper. Both are fine.
Okay, nanti kita kena discover lah. Tapi setakat untuk submit abstract ni should be okay lah kot. Tapi sebab dekat poster kena ada references juga kan?
Kalau .com, sorry. Kalau .com, kalau datang daripada mainstream surat khabar, is fine. It's good.
Okay.
Surat khabar is fine. Macam dapat Metro Kesihatan. Certain newspaper have their like health section, right? You can use that. Health and science section, you can use that. Tabloid is hati-hati sikit. Tabloid. Kalau magazine macam, I know, dulu ada st.com, right? Science magazine, the one that aim for younger readers, you can also use it as reference. It is also good.
National Geographic magazine ke kan?
Yes.
Discovery magazine pun boleh lah. Okay. Adakah itu menjawab soalan Wani?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So,
Unmute cikgu.
thank you so much Gadis Stem. Sorry. Kita pula lupa unmute. So nanti boleh screenshot lah part abstract tu. Boleh jadi contoh pada grup-grup lain kan. Okay, so next ialah kumpulan Bright Brains.
Thank you, teacher, and also Dr. Nazmi for all the advices.
Alright. Untuk Bright Brains, okay, you're welcome. Lupa nak cakap you're welcome Salma and the gang. Alright. Untuk ni pula ya. Bright Brains, are you ready? Tak semestinya abstract. Apa-apa bahan yang soft copy yang boleh share screen sekarang pun boleh ya. Things that you...
Okay, I'll present the screen, teacher.
Alright.
I love how everybody like using every student showed a very good command in English. Very good.
Okay.
We can see like big generation gap.
Diorang ni memang in general the few generations dari diorang dan ke belakang ni performance English memang bagus lah. BM dah jadi macam second. Itu generation diorang lah.
Right.
Okay, silakan.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Teacher Nadra and Dr. Nazmi. The title of our research project is Identification of Effective Organic Methods to Prevent the Growth of Bread Mold. Our group consists of 6 members, me, Aira Zafrin, Alicia, Aina Amira, Mama Abdullah, Tengku Arish and Nur Kristina Khadijah. I will pass our this beginning of our presentation to Aina Amira to explain to you our abstract and introduction of our research.
Assalamualaikum and good night. I'm Aina from Bread Brain, and our project centers on different natural ingredients widely used in bread making and their effectiveness in preventing mold growth in bread. Um, so, um, a series of experiments were conducted to determine the most effective methods to inhibit mold growth in bread while maintaining the flavor, texture, and appearance of the bread. The experiment involves testing different organic solutions to evaluate how they may impact the process of mold growth. The findings of the research contribute to establishing the most effective and sustainable anti-mold treatments for bread production, which may be of particular interest to home bakers and small-scale commercial bread production where chemical preservatives may not be desirable. Overall, the project seeks to provide insight into how preservatives can be used to extend the shelf life of bread and reduce waste, while catering to growing demand for healthy and natural food products. Moving on to our introduction, the issue of food waste has become a major concern in many parts of the world, including Malaysia. The excessive production and discarding of food not only represent a significant economic loss, but also have critical environmental consequences. One of the main contributors to food waste in Malaysia is bread, which is often discarded before reaching its expiration date. In response to this problem, we started a project to tackle bread waste and food waste using organic methods. According to a study from the Ministry of Housing and Local Government of Malaysia, the nation produces 16,000 metric tons of food waste per day. Approximately 27% of cooked or prepared food is wasted, and 20% is ready to consume when purchased. This project aims to promote the use of natural ingredients such as prune juice, vinegar, and cinnamon solution to extend the shelf life of bread and other food items. Through this approach, the project seeks to reduce the amount of food that goes to waste and promote sustainable practices in food production and consumption. This project represents an innovative and holistic approach towards food waste management in Malaysia, emphasizing the importance of natural and environmentally friendly solutions to one of our most pressing challenges. By promoting these organic solutions, the project aims to reduce the amount of food waste and promote sustainable practices in food production and consumption. The project's focus on using organic methods and ingredients sets it apart from other approaches to solve the problem of bread and food waste. These methods are not only more effective at preserving bread, but are also less harmful to both the environment and human health. One of the critical components of the project is how natural ingredients can help extend the shelf life of food items. By increasing awareness, the project team aims to not only reduce food waste, but also change the way people think about food consumption and management. In conclusion, the project that aims to tackle the problems of bread waste and food waste in Malaysia by using organic methods represents not only a solution, but also a change of mindset, a more sustainable and responsible way of producing and consuming food. By promoting the use of natural ingredients and educating people about the harmful effects of food waste, this project has the potential to make a significant contribution to reducing food waste and promoting sustainable practices in Malaysia. For the materials and methods, I will now pass it over to Christina.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I'm Christina and I will present the material, apparatus and the procedure. Okay, so the materials that we use are 4 sliced white bread, water, white distilled vinegar, prune juice, cinnamon solution and also Ziploc bag. For the apparatus, spray bottle. So the procedure is prepare 4 slices of white bread on a clean surface. Spray 3 to 4 sprays of water evenly on both sides of the bread surface. Place the bread in an airtight Ziploc bag. Leave the bread in a dry room temperature environment for 24 days. Repeat step 1 to 4 with prune juice, white distilled water, and cinnamon solution on different breads and place it in a different airtight Ziploc bag. After 24 days, calculate the size population of mold growth using a quadrat. And finally, record the population size of mold growth in the table below.
Okay, as for the results of our research, it is found that 33 centimeters square of bread mold was found on the bread sprayed with water. The bread sprayed with water is just our control variable to see to identify when the bread mold starts growing. And 18 centimeters square of bread mold was found on the bread sprayed with prune juice. No bread mold was found on the bread sprayed with white distilled vinegar, and 36 centimeters square of bread mold was found on the bread sprayed with cinnamon solution. So as we can see, no bread mold was found on the bread sprayed with vinegar. Hence, we can say that vinegar is the most effective mold inhibitor. This is because vinegar contains antimicrobial properties that can prevent the growth of microorganisms like fungi and bacteria. Vinegar helps to produce an environment that is less favorable for the growth of mold and other microorganisms when it is applied to bread. Vinegar has a low pH level, which means it is acidic, which inhibits the growth of mold by producing an acidic environment that is unsuitable for the growth of bacteria and mold. Another component of vinegar is acetic acid, which also has antimicrobial properties and can eliminate mold spores and other microorganisms. Vinegar is often used in very small amounts during the bread making process and has no noticeable flavor. This makes it a useful and efficient solution for preserving bread. Overall, vinegar is a common which is a common preservative used in the food sector, is cheap and an efficient alternative for preventing bread mold. I will
Alright,
now pass it
so
to Alicia.
Alright, so moving on to cinnamon solution, the bar chart and table above demonstrate that the bread sprayed with cinnamon solution had the least effective outcome as a mold inhibitor, since the bread had a significant surface area of mold, which was 36 cm squared. Although cinnamon solution contains antibacterial chemicals such as cinnamaldehyde, it may not be strong enough to prevent mold and other germs from forming on bread. Cinnamon's antioxidant characteristics make it less effective than vinegar and prune juice for preventing mold growth on bread. Furthermore, the concentration of cinnamon solution required to effectively preserve bread may be impractical or too expensive. Using too much cinnamon in bread recipes can also have a negative impact on the texture and flavor of the bread, making it less desirable to consumers. So, while cinnamon adds spice and health advantages to bread, it may not be the best effective preservative. As a result, traditional preservatives like vinegar are often more recommended for mold protection, even if cinnamon may add flavor and health benefits to the bread. So I will be passing on the conclusion to Tengku.
Okay, so hi, I'm Tengku Arish. So let's move on to our conclusion. In conclusion, this project provides valuable insight into the use of natural and organic methods in preventing bread mold growth. So our study's result indicates that the three organic methods tested, which is cinnamon, vinegar, prune juice. Vinegar and prune juice are the most effective in preventing bread mold growth. The use of these natural preservatives can help to reduce food waste and promote more sustainable practices in the baking industry. Okay, this is mainly because by using this method, businesses and baking industry can store breads for extended periods. On the other hand, cinnamon solution showed the least effective results and may not be the best option for preventing bread mold growth. By integrating these natural preservation methods into the bread making process, we can ensure that our food is healthy, safe, and free from harmful preservatives. Therefore, this project contributes to the understanding of organic preservation methods and can help to guide future practices in the baking industry.
Okay. Well done. Well done. I expect that nobody is assigned to talk about acknowledgement, but that's all good. That's all good. Can we move back all the way to the abstract? Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. The abstract is, I mean, the flow is there. Just that just that for this case, you immediately begins with aim. Usually, but I think from the previous group, you can see how generally the flow goes. So you can, improve your abstract just by following the flow of the previous group. Yep. If you follow the similar flow, then your abstract will be very good as well. Okay. Now let's move on to the introduction. Okay, your introduction. Okay, for the previous group, I really recommend people to like use their website reference. But for the introduction, up until now, I think every other group should refer your introduction as a reference. This one is very well written. Is it like only one person is assigned to do this, or is like everyone had their hands on writing the introduction? Be honest, okay?
We stayed back after school to finish this project. So everyone contributed to finding info, but finalizing this introduction, it was written by Ana Amira.
Oh, Amira. Okay, very nice. Oh, because the level of the English that you use to write this is, it's like what we expected for how people are writing a scientific article. So that's why like I c- um it's not wrong for you to do that, because usually even in tertiary students they also do that. What people tend to do is they copy the facts from the internet, paste it, then paraphrase it. Did you guys do that? Or do you really like make your own sentence on your own? Or do you use ChatGPT?
For the intro, no, we did not use ChatGPT. Every person, Alicia used Google Scholar to find info about food waste and all the info that has like data here. We did use ChatGPT to find info, but I don't think it was put in the introduction because it wasn't as detailed as we wanted it to be.
Okay. It's fine to use ChatGPT to understand the concept. To understand the basic concept of what we're trying to do. People have been using that even at my level. When they're trying to relearn a concept that is used to be foreign to them, or something entirely new to them. So they do use Google, Wikipedia, and now people are using ChatGPT just to get a quick summary of how things are, and then they can do further reading later.
Sorry,
Yeah.
nak tambah on that point. Sometimes when I read something that is very high level, I copy paste the text and put in ChatGPT, and I ask ChatGPT to explain this text as if I am a 10-year-old. So dia punya level of re-explanation tu lagi rendah lah. Bahasa yang digunakan, verb ke apa semua digunakan lagi rendah. So kalau nak guna untuk study pun boleh kan kalau kaedah macam tu. Hanya dia explain balik teks tu pada level yang lagi rendah daripada umur kita sekarang. Mungkin kita perlukan level macam tu baru faham.
True that. Yep. ChatGPT is like, it's useful as you make it to be. So it's up to you to take advantage of it, and for students to take advantage of ChatGPT or any AI software to for the learning purpose is perfectly fine, because I'll be honest, under a trained eye we can know if someone is been using ChatGPT in their homework or assignments. So yeah, as long, but I don't think based on the level of writing, it's more likely that you guys get the information from the internet than rewrite it in your own words. I think that is most like what happened, and that's usually how people are doing it. So you guys are doing a very good job. So don't worry about it. Cuma you guys put a very interesting facts, because you mentioned about, according to a study from Ministry of Housing, local government, how many tons, and then this is where we put our where we're going to cite. For example, until 6,000 metric tons of food waste per day, then will be put in bracket. Maybe like I don't know. This one I think you can get it from the government website, right? So, for example, like Statista, then 2023, for example, like that. Net percentage of several cooked prepared meal food is wasted and 20% is ready to purchase. It's also good for you to cite this information, because this is a very valuable information that you set you guys apart from the other groups, because you cite real life data into your introduction. So that's very good. So but just that, be sure whenever other facts are being put in, we have inline citation for that. I think like Cikgu Nara can explain a bit lah later on how we usually go about on doing that. And then I wanted to bring everyone's attention to how nice the flow of this introduction is. Generally, when we do introduction, we do like this, like a funnel approach, like macam turas. We start off something, a big information of a big abstract. For in this case, the issue of food waste has become a major concern in many parts of the world. Very big. So see, they start big. And then, including measure, then the excessive discarding food and business loss have critical consequences. So they relate back, okay, there's a problem that we're seeing. And then go to one of the main contributor food waste in Malaysia. In Malaysia. Now it goes much more focused. And then from there, mention very often discarded before reaching an expiration date. Okay, see, okay, we're starting to see a problem. So that's their problem statement. And then they mention about we started a project to tackle waste food product by using organic method. Okay, that's it a bit maybe it can be rephrased later. Rather than in response to this, we started a project, you probably want to change it. For example, like due to this concern, there is a need to tackle bread waste and food waste using organic products, because I started using something like that. And then according to the data, then they give their real life data examples, so you can see the significant scale of the problem. And then to the news paragraph, in response to the problem, we started a project to tackle bread and this is the same thing, using organic method. So that's the aim. So you can see from a big idea, the background, then problem, and then the aim, how to solve the problem. And then they mention about to push seeks to reduce the amount of food that goes waste and promotes the food. Okay, that's okay. This project represents an innovative approach to food management, emphasizing its product position. I think the whole paragraph is kind of like looping. So we started a project to tackle problems, aim, and this project has to promote the natural product. So that's the importance of the project. And then to the approach, the project is to reduce the amount. And then following that, this project represents an innovative approach to food waste management product. It's kind of like, okay, like what are you getting at? Dia macam banyak-banyak ayat tapi macam tak ke mana. So macam I think you can make it shorter and more concise. Don't worry. Scientific article, we try to keep it as short as we can. So don't worry about like doing this thick research report. You don't have to do that. Okay. But overall, the flow is there. Very good. One of the key component project is how natural ingredient can help shelf life of the food items. Okay, that's the scope of the experiment. You have established the scope in the introduction as well. Very good. Some research article forgot to do that. By increasing awareness, the project teams aim not to reduce food waste but also change the way people think about food management. Okay, I think your introduction can stop there already. And so the final paragraph, I don't think you need them. You can just remove them, and you should be fine. Okay. Oh, nak delete sekarang? Okay, boleh juga. Okay. Okay. Then let's see the material and method. I think that's fine. Just keep it in the past tense because we've done it, the experiment. Okay. Then we go to results discussion. Oh, you combine them together. Okay, which is perfectly fine. Okay, the figures. Okay. Okay, you have unit side. Okay, good. That's good. Okay, that's all good. The bar chart show table more. The most everything more. Section this band vinegar because of page level. Because for the sensitive. Oh, can you go back to procedure again? Saya nak check something je. Okay, spray 3-4 sprays of water. Oh, so you guys really just spray, right? Bukan macam immerse kan? Bukan macam like celup dia betul letak dalam bag
No, we use spray bottles.
Okay. Because when you mention earlier when you write about white distilled vinegar, can you bring to white distilled vinegar section? The result and discussion. White distilled vinegar. Because of vinegar has low pH level which inhibits the growth of more by producing acid environment and unsuitable for growth of bacteria. This is just a trivia. You guys technically you won't be tested this in your exam. Generally speaking, any environment that is pH 3 and lower is too toxic for normal microorganism. You will die. So I look it up because you mentioned acetic acid and I look it up the pH of acetic acid. Coincidentally, it was 3. So it's like, patutlah mati. Sebab you
Tapi
put a
safe
very
for us to eat lah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But generally, but I would say because you spray it, and the fact that acetic acid is an organic acid would be safe for consumption. But it brings another interesting matter sebab I also thought about okay, rasa dia macam mana then? Have you guys like try to eat it? Mana mau boleh makan kan? So kau spray je terus kan? Sorry. Oh, because
Tapi
I
sebenarnya
remember
itulah antara soalan yang beberapa kumpulan dapat lah. Bila dah test spray apa semua ni, bila dia dah lifespan roti tu lama kan, have you actually try to eat it kan? So macam itu satu persoalan jugalah yang mungkin juri tanyalah. So macam mana nak atasi tu? Tak boleh nak jawab macam semalam kan, outside research scope kan?
In a way yes, boleh. But this is how I would phrase it. Okay. Technically, if you going to eat it, that's essentially another experiment. How to put this? Because when you do your report, you have one set of experiment. Okay, macam kita test different protocol. Lepas tu kita different in this case context, we put it into a different organic solution, and then we see the pain growth. Tapi in actual experiment yang people publish in the journals, they usually have at least three experiment in one paper. So that eating it is actually a second experiment. It's called a second experiment. So in your case, you can say it is outside the scope of your experiment because you're doing a different test altogether. Your eating experiment is different from you checking the mole experiment. So you can say it's outside the scope of the experiment actually.
Cuma boleh tambah kata suggestion for future experiment lah, future research lah, based on their finding. Okay, based on our finding, we suggest the future research involve investigating the taste of bread treated with apa-apa lah kan, macam tu
Yes. Oh, because earlier I thought this group is the one yang bake their own bread, so that's why I want to know if they did the taste test. But yeah, but it's okay. All good. Cinnamon solution is fine. But I love the fact that you mentioned cinnamon contains cinnamaldehyde. I do notice when people trying to selling this organic product, when they mention using cinnamon as a health product or health benefit, they tend to mention antimicrobial properties and cinnamaldehyde will tend to be mentioned. So this is a very important information. And the fact that you have them in your discussion, it shows that you did your research. So well done, this group. So this is what I explained to other group as well. When we say macam, when we do discussion is based on our reading, what can we make, what we can say our results. From our reading, how would we explain the pattern of result that we're getting? So they're doing a very good job at this. The difference between discussion and introduction is based on our reading. This is what we know about the matter. That's introduction. Based on what we read, this is what we know about the matter. That's introduction. For discussion, based on our reading, this is our explanation to why the results is like that. Okay, that's the difference. Okay, so over time, when you get trained to become a scientist, you can see when student giving you a work, say, ini bukan introduction, ini discussion, or ini bukan discussion, ini introduction. Yep. I've been helping my supervisor with looking at students doing their report, and I see a lot of university students making that mistakes, and then I think a high school student not making that mistake. So I'm very impressed with this group. Very nice, very nice. Finally, with the conclusion,
Cuma kena tambah citation je lah kan, itu je lah. Mana dia orang
sama
dapat
citation.
maklumat pasal cinemaldehyde apa semua ni kan, kena ada
Betul.
citation supaya orang boleh tahu you baca kat mana part ni, macam tu lah.
Betul.
Itu tak apa, itu saya boleh guide.
Okay. Conclusion project for the insight nurturing condition. Okay, this one. When we do conclusion, we begins with the overall results. So your second sentence here should be your first sentence. Yang this project provide valuable insight ni letak dekat ayat before by integrating this natural preservation. Letak ke situ. Move that to yang before by integrating this natural preservation methods. Yeah, you can paste it there. Then one in conclusion. Yes, very clever. And then all good. The conclusion is very good now. That's all. Yeah, I can see like you guys did a lot of reading, and I'm not just talking about just reading. It's like you're reading and making sense of what's going on, because you can relate whatever you read with whatever you're seeing. So it's very good. Yeah, I hope all of you like go to research. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I
Ada questions. Okay, sorry.
Wait, I'm not sure. Do any of my teammates have questions to ask?
Cuma take note lah, list out all the website ke articles ke yang kamu guna untuk buat references tu copy paste je dekat bahagian references tu, nanti saya ingat macam mana kita nak tambah dalam extended abstract tu lah. Yang tu kita boleh ambil masa sebab submission extended abstract lambat lagi. Cuma kita list out, saya akan ajar cara nak tulis references betul-betul yang senarai references tu, sebab itu kena masuk dalam poster. Itu kita nanti tambah lah. Dia dalam poster kena letak ke citation juga kalau dia orang buat discussion ni? Macam mana
Yes, don't kena letak.
Yeah,
But for poster level, we just put the most important highlights only. We don't have to put everything. Generally for poster, it's good to have as little words as possible and as much figure as possible. The more visual you can have it, the better it is. Macam tu. Dia macam it's sort of what my previous supervisor say, balance between showing people the amount of work that you put in and also the information that's actually you readers or your audience really needs to know. Macam tu. Okay, good.
Okay, ada nak tanya apa-apa lagi ke?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you, good job. Boleh stop screen sharing ni. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Alright.
lagi dah?
Ada satu lagi, cordyceps.
Oh, okay. Itulah. Itu
Cordyceps
dia ke yang bakar roti sendiri ke?
dia ni yang bakar
Yeah.
roti.
Oh, the best food lah. Very interesting.
So dia orang punya team ialah Totally Spice. Macam cerita
Oh,
Totally Spice.
Spice. Oh.
Dia orang punya wordplay tu macam kagum jugalah macam mana boleh relate. Siapa yang akan ni? Cordyceps? Oh. Alright, silakan. Itulah masa tu ada cikgu request diorang nyanyi lagu Totally Spice, tapi of course lah masa tu nak balik tak sempat lah.
Okay.
Teacher, sorry. I tried to share the screen and dia kata tak ada permission. I have to buka settings. Sekejap, I'll ask one of my teammates to share.
Alright. Tapi MOE kan boleh. Oh sebab okay.
For fun je lah. You guys can ask me macam what's your career prospect if you want to be a scientist?
So basically kalau nak jadi scientist boleh tanya lah. Sebab
if you want to be a scientist, you want to ask
kan.
me career advice, yeah, you can ask me that as well.
Hari tu yang tak datang Catherine je kan, yang lain semua datang kan. Okay. Kumpulan yang dah present, if you don't have anything to ask ke atau macam perlukan masa untuk study ke apa ke, if you want to leave the meet tak ada masalah. Tapi kalau macam ada tiba-tiba terfikir soalan ke apa, just post dalam Telegram, nanti saya akan share lah. It's okay kalau nak mohon izin untuk keluar. Alright.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum, this is my group, the Cordyceps. And this is our abstract. The title of our research is Identification of the Most Effective Spice to Prevent Mold Growth in Bread among turmeric, garlic, honey, clove, and cinnamon. This is our abstract. So food being sold on the market today often contains high sodium content, mostly due to the preservatives put in them. While sodium preservatives may be efficacious in lengthening the shelf life of bread products, this also leads to many long-lasting diseases such as hypertension, obesity, and diabetes. There are other available food-preserving ingredient alternatives such as turmeric, curcuma longa, clove, Syzygium aromaticum, garlic, Allium sativum, honey, and cinnamon, Cinnamomum verum. This study aims to deduce the most effective spice among the 5 to prevent mold growth in bread. Each spice bread was stored in the same condition, which is in a warm and dark room for 7 days. The mold population growth of each bread was recorded daily. After 7 days, clove bread has the lowest average of mold population growth at 0 centimeters squared, followed up by honey, turmeric, cinnamon, and garlic. Meanwhile, garlic has the highest average of mold population growth at 66 centimeters squared. The mold growth on clove bread was only visible from day 5 onwards. On the other hand, the mold growth on garlic bread has been visible since day 2. Clove contains antimicrobial compounds such as eugenol and eugenyl acetate, which delays the growth of mold in clove bread. Meanwhile, garlic contains allicin, which also has antimicrobial properties. However, eugenol and eugenyl acetate have been proven to be more efficacious in preventing mold growth in bread than allicin. It is concluded that clove is the most effective in delaying mold growth in bread. As for our introduction, The common preservatives being used in food production in Malaysia are irrationally high in sodium. 40.9% of bakery products sold across Malaysia contain propionic acid, common sodium preservative. Despite keeping the food safe to be eaten for longer, this also creates a much larger problem among Malaysians: high salt intake. The issue of high salt intake has shown an increase in obesity among the individuals in our country. As of 2021, 17.7% of Malaysians have been diagnosed as obese, making Malaysia the country with the most obese cases in Southeast Asia. Obesity is not a matter to be taken lightly, as according to the United Nations, 4 million people die each year due to being overweight or obese. On the other hand, spices have been commonly used as food preservatives dating as far back as the 1880s. These spices include those I have mentioned before: turmeric, clove, garlic, honey, and cinnamon, which commonly contain antimicrobial compound eugenol. There are also other antibacterial compounds involved in some of these spices, such as cinnamaldehyde, curcumin, and hydrogen peroxide. Spices are also known for their health benefits and commonly used for their medicinal properties, since they contain high level of antioxidants. Besides, all the 5 spices mentioned are suitable to be grown commercially in Malaysia's climate. Hence, the study has tested the spices to determine their effectiveness in delaying mold growth in bread. With further research, the use of spice as a preservative may be incorporated in many other food products, such as pau, waffles, and bagels. Use of spice to replace high sodium preservatives may significantly increase the average health level among Malaysians. So now we're moving on to our materials and methods. Materials that we use for this study are kitchen materials and apparatus that we've used for this study are kitchen weighing scale, bowl, spoon, spatula, knife, cutting board, blender, stone mortar, cupcake baking tray, spray bottle, and Ziploc bag. Meanwhile, the apparatus used, the ingredients used are yeast, olive oil, flour, salt, cinnamon, clove, honey, turmeric, and garlic. So our procedure, we started off by mixing 1 packet of yeast, which is 11 grams, with a teaspoon of sugar and 1 cup of hot water. Then we let the yeast rise for 5 to 10 minutes until it gets nice and foamy. After that, we transferred the yeast mixture into a large bowl and put 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 1/4 cup of sugar inside. We mixed it with a wooden spoon, and in another large bowl, we put 3 cups of all-purpose flour and 3/4 of teaspoon of salt. Then we whisked it. After that, we gradually added 1/3 of the flour into the yeast mixture, and we used the rest of the flour to spread it on the table and make sure the surface is nice and flat. Then we continued to knead the dough together until it gets nice and smooth on the flour table. After that, we divided the dough into 5 equal parts for each of our spice. The way that we prepare our garlic is that we use a stone mortar to crush the garlic and make a paste out of it. And we also used a blender to crush the clove. Once all the spices are prepared, each spice is measured to be 8.5 grams. We mixed them into separate doughs. Then we prepared 5 small bowls for each dough and coat with olive oil to prevent the dough from sticking to the bowl. Then we covered each bowl with cling wrap and let the dough rest for 1 hour. After 1 hour, we kneaded the dough again and left the dough to rest for another half an hour in the baking tray that is coated with olive oil. After another half hour, the dough was ready to be baked, and we preheated the oven to 350 degrees Celsius. And we baked the dough for 30 minutes. After baking, we let the bread cool down first, then cut the bread in quarters. After that, we spread each bread evenly once and put it inside the Ziploc bag. After that, the breads are then stored in a dark and humid room for 7 days. Population of mold growth for each bread is measured daily for 7 days. The next part will be read by Yuvaraj.
Okay, as for result and discussion, this experiment is conducted to investigate the relationship between the type of spice put in bread and population size of mold that grows on it after 7 days. Table below shows the effect of spice on growth of mold population on bread in 7 days. As you can see, the average population of mold growth in centimeter cube for honey is 24, cinnamon is 65.25, garlic is 66, turmeric is 32, and clove is 0. For the graph below, it shows the average population of mold growth in the bread based on different types of spices used in bread after 7 days. Based on the graph above, the highest average population of mole growth in garlic bread, which is 66 centimeter cube. Garlic is known to contain a high level of moisture. Garlic also contains allicin and allene compounds. Enzyme allinase will be activated when allene is broken down. This reaction increases the rate of growth of mold in bread. Hence, the garlic bread provides a suitable environment for mold to thrive in. On the other hand, clove bread contains the lowest average population of mole growth, which is 0 centimeter cube. Clove contains eugenol, which is strong antimicrobial compound. Eugenol will disrupt the cell membrane of the mole, which causes damage to the fungus cell structure and prevents it from replication. Hence, the settlement of mole in clove bread is delayed for much longer than other spice breads. Additionally, clove also contains antioxidant that can help extend the shelf life of baked goods by preventing rancidity. Based on the investigation and the graph above, clove is the most effective spice in dealing the growth and mold in bread. Finally, in conclusion to this project, we have discovered that clove is the most efficacious among the 5 spices tested in the delaying of the growth of mold on bread. The average population of mold growth in clove bread is 0 centimeter cube. Clove is then followed by honey, turmeric, cinnamon, and garlic. Clove is the most effective in delaying mold growth due to the high level of eugenol contained in clove, which act as an effective antifungal to inhibit the growth of mold on the bread. In short, this causes damage to the permeability of cell membrane and hence the function of the cell in fungus, which inevitably kill the microorganism. Besides that, clove contains antioxidant that prevents the rancidity from occurring in order to increase the shelf life of the bread. However, further research should be conducted to overcome the study research limitation and increase the accuracy of result obtained. Thank you very much.
Like, is it your father knocking on the door? Sounds urgent.
Yes, I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. Okay. Okay. Overall, the group has done very splendidly with most things. Yeah, almost everything. Yeah. So can we like just go through from abstract? Alright. Okay, for Miss for today. Okay. The focus. Okay. Yeah, you guys did a very splendid job with the abstract, and I think this one is the best because when we talk about when we put our results sentence in abstract, we want to highlight the most important data, and you did. You just say after 7 days, clove bread has the lowest average mole population of 0 cm. You put the data straight in there. That's how we usually do it. The most important data, we put it in our abstract and we highlight what the number is. Okay? That's the best way of doing that. So very good job. And then you'll move on with the discussion part in the abstract as well. Very nice. Okay, overall, well done. Yep. As long you meet the word count imposed by, as long you meet the maximum word count, then you're fine. Okay. Let's move on to the introduction. Conservative addition has okay. This one, I noticed that you guys have like in bracket 4, 5. That's references, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
According.
But I'm kind of weird because it starts with number 4. What happened to 1 to 3? Has it been removed?
No, we didn't really like have a specific reference for 1 and 2 and 3.
Oh, okay. Quite weird, but okay, I guess so.
1, 2 and 3 tu dekat mana?
No, I didn't like tulis dekat in here.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
In your final report, there is those things.
Okay.
Okay, I guess that's fine. Because I just got confused by that. Okay, we can move on because you got data and you set it, which is very nice. Okay, let's just move on to the next paragraph. On the hand, yep. Okay, just a small minor changes that you need to make. When we mention the scientific name, for example, like Curcuma longa Syzygium aromaticum allium sativum, all of these, the scientific names, it has to be italicized. And the first word is the genera, the second word is the species. The first letter of genera must be capitalized, and for the species letters everything must be in small letters. So for example, the Curcuma longa, the first C must be big. Macam tu. The longer, the L, that one is fine. It has to be small. It's like that. Okay. But those are just very minor correction lah. To study. And you also did a very splendid job with how you structure your introduction, because you start from something big, and then I love how, and the first paragraph you mentioned about salt level and you worrying about that, and on the second paragraph you talk about spices and what they can do. And this is the good this shows a very good organization where one paragraph should have only one idea, and you did that. You have one about salt, one idea, one paragraph. Second idea about spice, it's another paragraph. So yeah, very nice. Okay, let's move on. Oh, for methods and methods. Similarly, usually from methods and methods until conclusion, we keep it in past tense. Masa kita dah buat benda tu, because we have done it. Another very minor correction, when we do adjective, bila kita letak adjective dalam penulisan artikel, kita tak pakai banyak. We keep it only something that we can see, or we can measure, or we can feel. Something like that. Benda lain kami biasanya kita tak letak lah. For example, okay, use some flour to spread it on the table and make sure the surface is nice and flawed. Okay, FLO, the flood tu, I think you mean spread. Spread is fine, you keep it. Nice, you remove it, because we do not know how to measure nice. I mean, we can say like feeling, but we can feel nice, but it's kind of like feeling here, not like feeling your, okay, nice no. Like that.
Boleh terus delete lah perkataan nice tu ya.
Boleh terus delete.
Maknanya terus gets smooth ya.
Smooth, you get spread. I think after that pun below that pun ada benda sama juga. Yang macam foamy, nice and foamy. Foamy is good because you can see foam. But nice no, you don't need to have nice. Biasanya apa-apa adjective yang macam abstract kita letak. Even we say greater pun, we only say great if we're talking about like greater than. For example, we don't say it look until it gets great level ke apa semua tu. We don't do that. We keep it precise in scientific writing. Okay, move on. Sebab you guys did a very good job that I say I can only point at the very small details. So sorry guys. Sorry because you guys are doing such a good job. The first and yeah. Okay, the mole growth for each bed is measured daily for 7 days. Okay, when you said measured daily for 7 days, I already expected that, okay, you measure from day 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I expected a line graph. Okay, now let's see. Do you have a line graph here? There's a table, yeah. Very nice, average. Yeah, but you see you put this on day 7, right? Okay,
sorry.
Sorry, okay.
I had the graph, but it accidentally got deleted.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. Because when you say in the method, you say you measure from daily until day 7, then we're expecting a line graph. However, macam the previous two other group, they measure on day 10. Macam day kosong, day 10. Then it's fine for them to have a bar graph because they measure 2 time point. For you guys, you measure multiple time points, so you have to have curve. You have to have a line graph. Macam tu. Okay. Okay, and also if we do any figures in scientific writing, we don't do 3-dimensional. Walaupun nampak cantik, we do 2. The reason being, usually in higher level, they tend to have a lot of data. So when you do 3D, it gets messy and confusing. So we keep it simple, we keep it 2D. Okay. Yeah, but again, yeah, me like I can only tegur benda-benda macam style je lah. You guys did a very good job. Okay. Right. Okay. Let's move on from there. Oh wait. Oh, you guys are the only group yang ada replicates here. I remember because you guys ada, saya nampak decimal point tadi. Kan, you guys ada 4 replicates kan? Per bread. Maksudnya 4 roti kunyit, 4 roti kayu manis, 4 bawang. Ada 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Ada average, ada I suddenly notice because saya perasan yang ada decimal point. Oh, maksudnya ada buat average lah tu. Okay, good job. So, Alan dapat roti kan. Buat banyak-banyak kan. Okay. Well done. This is the scientificus paper so far. Okay. Let's see. Next one. Okay. Move next. Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. In conclusion, the project we have discovered that is the most effective. Okay, so see, you start with you highlight the big results, which is very good. That's how we do it. The evaporation cost is 0. Okay, so then followed by, okay, then you order the things. So you're expanding on your description. Also very good. It's good to like increase the word count sometimes, right? Then clove is the most effective due to high level eugenol because you mentioned that in the earlier discussion. Yep, very good. You mentioned all this. Oh, cuma I forgot to mention. Your discussion suddenly does not have citation. It's so weird. Kan? Yang tadi macam introduction ada nombor 4, 5 semua tu. Tapi for discussion tadi tak ada nombor tu. So macam just keep in mind lah. Because you done do very good job. Dia letak citation for introduction. Do so je untuk discussion sama je. And then okay, that's all lah, good. Thank you, very good job. Oh, this is I guess very minor, tapi tak tahulah it's a big deal ke tak. Usually when we do acknowledgement, we talk about we thank people who give us the money, and we thank the people who help us with our research. Okay, this is a bit controversial lah, tapi even paper daripada macam like Muslim majority countries, they also doesn't put that we thank Allah. I mean, we do thank Allah like as in a daily sense. We give thanks to Him for our daily life. Tapi keep in mind that when we do scientific experiment, we dealing with people with diverse religious faith. So we tend to not bring it to. We don't tend to bring religion into the matters. Cerita lah kot. So just macam to be safe, just keep it to people who give us money and people who help us with our research. Oh, people who help us with our research, tapi pada masa sama mereka ni juga, they don't have their names in our paper. Maksudnya macam for you, Cikgu Nadrah, you need to thank Cikgu Nadrah lah. Because they're helping with your research. At the very minimum, then you can thank other people lah. That's what if you want. Okay. That's all good. Yeah, good job. Well done.
Ada apa-apa nak tanya soalan tak?
So would we know if there are any ways to improve our result during our investigation?
Hanya macam suggestion for future research ke, atau kalau macam nak repeat apa yang nak improve macam tu?
Both if possible.
Both if possible. Okay. If I were to repeat doing it again, I don't know, because In terms of the way you do it, is macam, because for example yang macam tadi, I would like to say make a line graph, because you promise in your method you measure you have daily measurement, but in reality you already have the data. We just macam tak terletak dalam ni, so you already have the data. If I were to do it again, I don't know, maybe just tapi you already have 4 replicates. It's already good enough. I don't know, but I mean, I cannot say from your level, but usually for our level, then we tend to do like other things lah, because as I mentioned previously, usually one scientific paper has 3 experiments minimum. So there would be like a taste test, ataupun one thing that be of interest is you want to identify the type of fungus that might be in there. But to do that is very complicated lah. I don't recommend you to do that at school level, let alone at university, and also even at undergraduate like if you're doing a Bachelor of Science, maybe we only do that if you're doing for your final year project. We don't do that as a normal weekly project, because to identify a species of fungus, you need to do what we call DNA sequencing. And to save money, we can sequence a very specific region of DNA. Technically it's RNA. It's 16S ribosomal RNA. We use that. We compare the sequences to identify what species of fungus there is. Scientists are using that as a measurement. But still, to do that, one sequence is about a couple of hundreds ringgit or maybe thousands. So you can see, like, if you have like four condition, like for organic product, you multiply that by 4. So like maybe it can go up to 4,000 ringgit just to identify the fungus. So you can see it gets very expensive lah. So, but at your level, I don't know what else to improve other than I can only recommend future studies lah. What else you can make to it? Because you can want to
Taste test ada tak?
Taste
tak ada
test
kan?
boleh tak adalah technically, tapi dia boleh buat lah. Tapi
makan.
You can start to see, okay, because you know the curve is the best, right? Then you can see curve at different moisture level. And then you do curve at different toastiness pula. Macam kita add heat treatment kan. So kita buat macam toaster lah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for example. And tengok dia punya growth fungus ke macam mana. Itu we can do that lah. But that's for future. But if you were to repeat it again, now just say keep it the same. Yeah, well done. It's hard. It's hard because the main thing has been done very well. So I can only make suggestion on how to improve the minor details. Yeah. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you very much for your insight.
Alright. Thank you so much also for your wonderful work. Cuma yelah nak bagi cantik yang graph tu, dan yang macam obvious sikit pasal lack of citation lah, nombor-nombor tu tiba hilang tu lah. Yang lain tu semua okay. Kan? Overall okay kan?
And this is the only group yang cite pun in the first place.
Itulah. Ini salah cikgu dia jugalah, tak ada macam nak buat citation sebenarnya.
Tak lama pun nak buat benda tu.
Betul. Okay lah. So Alhamdulillah, thank you so much for your sharing. Honestly daripada semua 6 grup ni saya pun memang belajar banyak lah. Dan nak kata apa ya, saya juga bercadang untuk print semua korang punya extended abstract ni untuk bagi dekat cikgu saya, cikgu English. Maybe dia pun nak gunakan sebagai assessment dia jugalah. Mungkin membantu dalam assessment PBD English juga ya. So kalau ada persoalan terakhir, kalau nak tanya, ada lagi tak nak tanya? Ada yang stay sampai ke akhir walaupun tadi di present first. Bagus.
Ada, saya cuba tanya lah kot. Raise your hand if anyone macam nak ceburkan diri dalam bidang sains. Doesn't mean in biology lah, in any science lah. Ada? few.
ada sains yang
Oh, okay.
sains.
Okay.
Oh.
That's good. That's good. Just a tips for you. It's good at your level sekarang ni to learn Python coding languages. The reason being, the current state of things in research right now, tak kisahlah bidang biologi ke apa, we starting to incorporate computer to analyze big data. When we say big, we're talking about millions and billions. So the scale is cannot be done by humans analysis alone. We have to automate the process and everything. And if you have Python language, macam ada some basic background, understanding about a simple script, you can get into many programs with scholarship easily. Itulah if you want to be a scientist lah. Because when you do scientist, you want to be at least at master level. So and having background in computer a little bit can speed up your career, inshallah. Something like that. Okay, good.
Okay. Alright. Dia punya okay tu kan, okay macam tu kan. Okay lah. So sekarang pun dah pukul 10, saya pun tak nak ganggu masa rehat kamu dengan lebih lama, mungkin nak study apa semua. So essentially most of the groups today kena buat minor tweaks pada abstract saja, dan saya yakin untuk buat poster tu pun tak perlu ayat panjang-panjang macam extended abstract, just tarik main point saja dan susun dalam poster sajalah. Hopefully dengan template yang saya bagi tu it helps you to do better lah. Cuma pesanan saya untuk semua ketua kumpulan, logo yang saya letak tu, logo sekolah dengan logo TS25 tu, itu position dia tetap. Yang lain tu kalau nak ubah colour scheme ke, nak ubah layout ke, tapi make sure the flow of your ideas tu make sense lah. We have 3 days sampai hari Isnin, so hopefully by Sunday semua dah ready lah, sebab Isnin ada paper kan, paper bio kan. So itulah tapi tak apa, saya buat kertas objektif, soalan objektif untuk Monday ni sebab saya tahu hari Isnin semua form 5 banyak busy kan, so okay sikit lah kot kau jawab objektif. So that is all for tonight. Thank you so much everyone for coming. That is all. Thank you.